All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, guys. We have people from China. I know it's almost midnight, and our speaker today, who is all the way from Australia. So we have got a speaker from Australia today. It's almost around 1 a.m. So we really do appreciate you here, Mr. Vals, for being with us. Please, guys, this is going to be a conversation. So to all those who have got questions, you can go ahead and ask the speaker anything about whatever you will be talking about. And please just raise up your hand. We can actually give you the floor to ask your questions. So Mr. Vals, over to you, sir. You can go ahead and please take us to your journey of life.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Life and the journey of life. Yeah. Okay. My name is Valentine Nguem, from Zim, from Victoria Falls. So I just yeah, been asked to share about life and in the journey of life and which we are on exactly. Yeah. So yeah, life has been interesting. There has been a lot of downs, a lot of ups, and due to different situations and circumstances. Life hasn't been so rosy, especially in the early ages of of growing up. It's been it was hard for me. I know at some point, when I look back and reflect, how did I really survive that? I tend to wonder how I did it. But thank God I'm here, still alive, still pushing through life. The challenges that I faced when I was growing up, and I'll take you back to 1993. 1993, I was in grade one. I think sometime in April, my mom passed away. So I was living with my mom in Bulawayo, then she passed away. So at that stage and age, you don't feel anything because nothing really makes sense. Nothing really matters. What you want is to go and play. You don't know the significance of what you have lost. So yeah, the first major challenge so I'll create a picture for you to understand the setup that was. So my dad was I was working in Gueri Midlands. He's a teacher. He has been a teacher ever since I was born. So my dad was working in Gueri. I was living in Bulawayo. Right. I don't know the reason why he didn't take me with him to stay with him. I don't know. So my dad remarried again in 1995. So I continued living in Bulawayo. The first challenge that I really felt was neglect, a lack of support. I don't really understand too the reason why my dad was really failing to support me financially, to take the role of a father, to a child who has lost his mom. I don't really understand why. Okay, so I'll give you an example. At some point, when I was growing up, I remember I think I was in grade 3 or grade 4, when my dad never. So because in Bulawayo, I was living with one of my uncles who was there when my mom passed away. So I continued to live with them. Then my dad was going to support me from there. So there was a school term where I felt to go to school because my dad never sent me money for school fees. I spent almost 3/4 of the whole term while sitting at home. And my dad is a teacher, but I'm not going to school because I haven't paid school fees in primary school. Back then, school fees was very cheap. Back then, school fees, I didn't really understand why. when you grow up and, in the whole community, you are the one that does not have enough stuff, not having enough clothes, and, you are lacking. You can see even the food you eat at home. You're just having salsa and boiled vegetables with no cooking oil or salt, but your father is there. They are not really supporting you enough. So yeah, those were the first hurdles and challenges. Uh, uh, I remember there was one other school trip that was there. I paid a little bit, and my dad couldn't finish paying it for me, and I canceled. All those were the childhood. Uh, a set of challenges, right? But at the moment, because I was still a child, I was still in primary school, you won't feel it, you won't see it. That I'm struggling, I'm lacking, I'm not having this. I know I didn't have uniforms. I had only one uniform that was very torn and dirty. But, so I'll fast forward to the major challenges. So in 1999, I finished my grade 7, I wrote my grade 7. Um, because back then the communication, there was no WhatsApp, there was nothing. It was only, on call boxes and calling to the school, when you want to converse with somebody. So I remember when everyone was busy looking for a place for secondary, I was just stuck, not knowing what this parent of mine has in plans for me. I was also busy going for interviews, but not knowing what I'm gonna do. So surprisingly, the last day when schools were opening in January 2000, um, uh, somebody came to pick me up to take me to Guero to stay with them, to stay with my dad and my stepmom. So, and I was an average to above average student. My performance was not so great, but it was almost there, right, in school. So so when I moved to join my dad and my stepmom to try and live as a family, the struggles of trying to fit into a family that I never really grew up with. Because I was used to living my life in Blawaii with my uncles, EDC,
Shut the
life of a
fuck up,
hustler,
motherfucker.
you know, the life of a hustler. So trying to fit into a family setup was one of the challenges, trust me. Waking up to say good morning, Dad, and I've never said those words ever in my life. Good morning, Mom. Trying to say Mom. After so many years, I'm now a grown-up child. Yeah. So life was all right when I went to Form 1. I was going to school, doing my studies, etc. All of a sudden, things started to change. The behavior of my stepmom towards me, I don't know the reason why. A lot of things changed within a short period of time. Starts the abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, right? So I'll be giving you scenarios and examples. Because my family, at that time I had only one young sister. Chantel was very, very young then. I think she was no. So at the time I had two youngers, Donovan and Chantel. So they were very young. Then I was in Form 1, so I used to take care of them when they were doing other things. Then because my main focus of going to live in Guerrero was to go to school and do my secondary education with my dad. Then starts responsibilities in the house. I started getting some duties to do in the house, which is all right, which is great. But the duties, they ended up exceedingly becoming to be a lot of a laborer, because there were no longer chores that a child can do, because a given task you have to finish cleaning the house before you go to school early in the morning. You have to do this. You have to cook lunch. You have to cook dinner. You have to wash plates. You have to wash clothes for your sisters, for us, for them. They became like you are a laborer now. You're no longer a child of the house, but you're now working. And so the challenge came when those two truths were not met. Then my stepmom would become physical towards me, right? Started to beat me up and etc. You know, because I didn't finish cleaning the house, you know, or you know, I went to school without doing some of the household chores, you know. So that you know, all in all, became like as if I'm a laborer, right? Verbal, all the verbal abuse you can think of, you know. Yeah, emotional, you know. That's when you start to think and reflect. I think I was better off living in Blawayo. I was better off without this family, etc. And that gradually, slowly affected my school performance. I became, you know, when I used to go to study, I used to go to study and just sleep. While other kids are studying, I was sleeping because I was tired from the, from the abuse at home, etc. You know, that was the only time I could rest, because when I go home, there's no rest, you know. So such an environment, especially in the house, when they become more strict, you know, if you realize that the kids with strict parents or who are going through abuse, they become mentally, because they are trying to create solutions if they make a mistake. You know, we know as a child, if you do something wrong, you have to go to tell your parents, Mom, Dad, I did this. Okay, then they'll rectify it or something. But now, when you know that if I report this, they're gonna beat me up, trust me, you will try to find a solution. For example, if you break a glass in the house, you know, by whatever means possible, I'll try to hide it, because I don't know, you know, I know if I report this, I'm going to be beaten, right? But those situations, they never deterred me. I still tried hard to study. I still tried hard to concentrate. But trust me, my performance in class went down. I remember there was, so in school, they used to have some announcements of top 10 performance in classes, you know, in bottom 10. I remember at one point, I was the only, because I was recruited into, into one of the first science classes. So I know it was the class for those kids that are there. And I'm in this science class and my performance is going down. Trust me, I tell you, I was the only one who failed in that class. And in the assembly, there was only bottom one. I'm the only one who failed to meet the 5 subjects requirement, not to be in the bottom 10. So I was the only bottom one. I'm the only one who failed in class. You see the effects of, of the abuse. I was so embarrassed in school because I was announced alone. 3 North, there's only bottom one, Valentine. I was so embarrassed. I never went to school for a couple of days because I couldn't face the people, you know, and things are burning back at home. Every day it's chaos. Every day it's chaos. The abuse continued for quite a while. I think I think towards the end of 2001, the abuse, especially the physical one, because it's the pain that you feel physically that hurts the most. My stepmom used to beat me in the fingers, used to beat me everywhere, right? Then the abuse escalated to points where my stepmom had to pour water on me and I got banned. But the funny thing, I don't understand it even at the moment, because at the time I didn't even tell anybody. So I went to clinic. I remember the day I went to study, in the evening, and I was feeling very, very bad, and it was so hot. And then I talked to my friends. They took me to the clinic. In the clinic, I lied. They asked me, Valentin, what happened to you? I was like to them, I was trying to get water to go and bath, and I poured to myself. because you don't want to create an environment that you are telling the world of the things that are, are happening in your house, because you fear that people are going to judge and condemn all those things. You're trying to protect the family. So I got burns here. I went to the clinic. They put me some bandages, and that was the turnaround of so many events. Right. I couldn't go into school, but I had so much anger with me. I was so disappointed in myself, on the things that are happening. You go to the corner, you cry, and I wish if my mom was here, but I never gave up. I continued going to school to a point that I saw that the environment was not friendly. I was not friendly at all to me. This is gonna get hurt really bad. I remember there was elections in 2002. I think it was around May, May. I think it was April, May, the elections when my dad and my mom went to cast their vote. Something came to my mind at the moment. It was like Valentine leave. It didn't take me 5 seconds to pick up my stuff. I picked up my bag, my school report, my clothes, put them in a satchel. I ran away. Because I was learning in Kweru. St. Patrick's is it's in the villages of Chiundura. I left. I took. I remember I took $50 from the cabinet that I was going to use. I wrote them a letter. I've left. Don't look for me. And I left. I walked through the bush because I think I left St. Patrick's around 10 a.m. in the morning. I got to the Harare Road. I think around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Where was I going? I didn't have an idea. I didn't know where I was going, but I was like, I'm gonna leave this. I didn't even have an idea of where I was gonna sleep that very day, that very night. But the bigger picture was like, I want to go to my uncles in Victoria Falls, there to my mom's family. I said to myself, on that journey, but I was clueless. I was just trying to think on the way how I'm gonna navigate this. The only man that I had was not enough. So there's some thoughts that come when you're in situations that you never understand how you thought about them. So when I was on my way to Gweru bus terminus, I just thought when I get to Blawe, I'll just go to Blawe Central Police Station. I went to Blawe Police Station, to Blawe Central Station. I reported my situation that I need to travel to Victoria Falls. I need a warrant to travel. Then they handled my situation very well. Trust me, those days the police were still very, very helpful. They helped me to navigate to get to my uncles in Victoria Falls. They sent somebody from the social work to travel with me. Because I was running away from abuse. So then a police case was opened, and my stepmom was almost arrested at some point. I had to withdraw the case. Right. Then I finished my high school. Then I finished my Form 3, Form 4 in Victoria Falls. Then I wrote my O-level, waited for my results. Then my dad invited me, Valentine, do you want to come back again to do your lower 6 here? And I was like, yeah, why not? Because I was a little bit grown up then, because I was in lower 6. I knew that nothing was going to happen to me. But it was very hard to face, to come face to face with the person that was abusing you, that you reported to the police. And it was one of the hardest thing ever, But then I went to do my lower 6, and I managed to get 6 points. And yeah, I tried to navigate then the day that I finished writing my A-level, I also left and I went back to Victoria Falls to try and figure out what life has in store for me. I tried hustling here and there, but because Victoria Falls is my hometown, so I knew how to navigate by day. My results came, they were not so good. I was like, I will figure out what to do. I tried to go to army recruitments, in Air Force recruitments, but nothing worked. Then when you are just a person, you meet people in life. I met one lady, because I was going to church. I met one lady who introduced me to a hotel where she was working, and if I wanted to be part of his team, at Victoria Falls Safari Lodge, then it's when my journey began now, of positiveness, because I got recruited, as an apprentice chef, and managed to train Bulawayo Polytechnic, paid by the government as an apprentice, and also getting an income. And from there, I never looked back up to now. I've managed to have the privilege to work with very good chefs, especially in Zimbabwe. I've managed to go to work in Botswana. I've worked in Dubai as a chef until I moved here in Australia 3 years ago. So the challenges that I really faced, they really had a lot of they contributed much in my mental being, even up to now, because you feel like you're a hardcore because you survived. You feel as if you don't have emotions because you survived tough times. But it's been an interesting journey. There's so many stories that I encountered, so many fun stories. I was naughty. I was also abused because, but that has been my my story, my life journey. But here I am, working, still trying to progress to be a better person. That's it. Any questions or clarity? But that's it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vals. I actually have a question. So after you went to the police and you reported your case, did you go back to your house to live again with your stepmom?
So when I went to Bulawayo Central Police, I went and told them, "Hi guys, because I didn't know how I knew that there were some travel documents you can get from the government to travel for free." So my intention of going to the police was to get a travel document. Then the police will ask you, why do you need it? Or where are you coming from and where are you going? So I told them I want to go to Victoria Falls to my uncle's because I'm running away from abuse, right? Then the police took me to social welfare in Bulawayo. They organized the document. Then I traveled the following day to Victoria Falls from Bulawayo with somebody from the social work, where I met my uncle. When I got to my uncle in Victoria Falls, my uncle was like, "No, I will receive you, but I will have to go to the police to let them know that I've received you as my child, to let them know in case of anything happens in the future." Right. So when you get to the police, you give your statement. I know I'm here to my uncle because I'm running away from being abused. I've got so many scars in my body, even up to now, they're still there, still fresh. So I've got so many scars here. I've been bent, I've been beaten. So this is why I'm running away. But we didn't know that the police have opened a case then of child abuse. So we gave them all the details. So what the police did, because I went to the hospital to get some scans and proof that this is really, abuse. Then the police, they opened a case. We didn't know that they have opened a case. So they sent the case to Gweru police station. The Gweru police took it over and they were about to arrest my stepmom. Then from Norway, I think that was in August then, and I saw my dad sitting in Victoria Falls in the house. Like, what does he want here? You understand? Because he was advised by the police to come and talk to me to withdraw the case. You understand? So the police advised my dad, go talk to your child. This is a family dispute, I understand. Go talk to him to withdraw the case because if he testifies and if he wants the case to proceed, your wife is gonna get arrested for child abuse. So go try to talk to your child to withdraw the case. We didn't know anything. Because at the time that my dad came to Victoria Falls, I was surprised. We didn't really know that there was a police case happening. So my dad spoke to me, spoke to my family, my mom's family, my uncles. He apologized and blah, 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 blah. Then we traveled together with my dad to Gweru police station for me to give a statement and to withdraw the case from the system. You understand? So I went and testified that no, I want to withdraw the case. This is a family matter. We'll solve it outside, etc., etc. Then we left the police station back home to my stepmom. It was one of the hardest times that I lived. So I stayed there for 2 weeks because I was still going to school then. But I stayed there for 2 weeks because I think it was the August school holidays. So to finish, we didn't trust each other. I didn't trust her. It was really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I'm really sorry about all you went through as a child. I really do understand that abuse is something that nobody would want to experience. So what can you say, like, to all the children right now who are facing the same situation? Do you have any message for them?
Yeah, I know people usually say, don't give up, fight. It's not easy when you're in the situation at the moment. It's really, really hard. It's really hard when you tell somebody, don't give up, it's gonna be fine, because sometimes for things to be fine, you need resources, you need to at least go to school, you need to get the basics. But what I can say is there is some light at the end of the tunnel. You do what you can do at the moment, and try and survive. We don't know what tomorrow has for us. Sometimes you can give up. But because when I say don't give up, sometimes it's so hard not to give up. It gets so intense. You don't have a solution at all, but you keep on pushing, you keep on fighting hard, and hoping for the better, and hoping for the best, and yeah.
Okay, but according to your own
Yeah.
experience, according to your own experience, would you rather encourage those who are being abused to actually report, or to just keep living like that? Like, what would you say?
When you're in the situation, you don't see that you're being abused. You see it as a normal routine. You will see it after that, but I was truly, truly abused. Sometimes you fear to be victimized. Sometimes you don't even know, even if I report, will I get enough support, from my family? Because the problem is, now it depends where you are. Where do you, are you going to be able to get support? Sometimes that's the only thing. That's the only place you have to stay. Sometimes it's very hard. For example, if you're in Australia, abuse, you report, the government takes care of you, right? But if you report when you're in Zimbabwe, the government does not have those facilities to cater for victims who are running away from abuse. You see, you still go and report and go back to the same people that you reported. Sometimes you have to be taken away from the situation. You have to be taken away from the situation because it's toxic, it's not good. But the Zimbabwean government does not have those facilities. You understand? You will report and then you come and face the same monster again. That you reported. Sometimes they don't get arrested. They'll tell you, go talk this issue in the house. So, but yes, reporting is the easiest thing you can ever do. But the Zim situation, or the Zim hakuna that support. There is not, that support is not there to help you go through that. I'm not so sure if there is any therapist, because you need some therapy, even from that situation. I'm not so sure if there is my NGOs, because you need to speak to somebody and get support from there, because there's no more looking. Because you report a situation, then you still go back to it, and nothing is rectified. You see.
Yes,
But
I'm
reporting.
understanding. I'm understanding.
Okay.
Talk
to somebody. Yeah.
Sorry, you can go ahead.
You need somebody to talk to, somebody who will understand your situation. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Vals. Guys, anybody who is here, if you do have any questions for Mr. Vals, please go ahead and ask. I think we are left with 5 minutes now. So anybody who has to say, please go ahead.
Me, I want to ask something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Vals, how did you manage after you have reported everything about your abuser? What pushes you to go back to stay with that monster after all this while? Why didn't you just continue studying in Victoria Falls rather than going back to the same monster? Were you not afraid about all those things that happened before?
To be honest, I don't understand how I took that decision to go back, because what my dad told me, he called and said, when I got my results, I got back to him, and Dad, these are my results. I've got these O-level results. Then he said to me, if you want to come back to do your lower six, you are most welcome. So my main reason of going back was because St. Patrick's was a better school then. St. Patrick's was a better school. They had better education. They had better facilities. Because my main aim was now, and the other college I got, I was almost 17 years. I knew that, I'm a little bit older. If they, if she wanna beat me, trust me, I will, and don't worry. Because I was a little bit now older and mature. But the basic was to go to a better school, because at the school that was then, in Vicos, there was only one high school, Mosia Tunya, and it wasn't really good and competitive in terms of education. So I went back because one, I knew I was a little bit older and mature now. I will handle whatever will come my way. Two, I wanted to go to a better school and and better challenges, etc. Yeah.
Okay, I've got another question.
Yes.
Okay, apart from because the only trustee that you had for during that time was your uncle. What about your dad? Did you have any chance to talk with your dad about everything that was happening around that house with your stepmom?
So when you see that, I know it's a losing team, because my stepmom was violent to everyone, even to my dad, right? At the time, I knew that even if I told my dad will not do anything, because this woman is the one who has got the power in this house, So I regarded my dad as a toothless bulldog, that even if I tell him, he's not going to do anything. So you better keep it to yourself at the moment, because I knew if I report this to my dad, it will be another war for a week. That are you ganging up with your child? Because even my dad used to get the abuse that your child, you're not controlling your child is doing this, and then all those reports, and why are you not beating your child, because all those things. So I knew that even if I told my dad, he's not going to rectify anything. He's not going to solve this situation that I'm in, or that I've been beaten. So telling him seemed to be like a waste of time to me at the moment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vals. Mr. Alfred, I'm really sorry I need to stop you. We are actually running out of time right now. But I really want to thank you all guys for joining us today. And thank you so much, Mr. Vals. I know in Australia is almost, is it around 2 now? And it's very late, but you decided to share your story with us today. And thank you so much for that. And all those who are in China, we really do appreciate. I know it's around midnight right now, but you are here with us. Thank you so much. Everyone in Dubai, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate. I'm going to post this video on YouTube. Please find our channel is written The Journey of Life with Miss Beauty. If by any chance you want to be one of our guest speakers here, please do contact me. I'm actually going to let you be our guest speaker for next week on Friday. So this continues. We always have another session every Friday at 7 o'clock Dubai time. So guys, we use the same link always. The one that you just used just now is the same link we are always using. So please don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and comment. This video is going to be there. And please support us by sharing our YouTube link. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good evening, a good morning, and a good afternoon to everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mhm.